hey, I don't like when you come in talking on the phone. But now, because of childhood, when they are corrected on something, they're more open to listen to why versus actually just, I ain't got to what? What's the problem? I don't, you see what I'm saying? That's what I love about that is that by them coming in and you saying, I don't.
I would always come in the house on the cell phone talking, and I didn't know that bothered him. And then he basically, told me that it bothers him and to stop coming in the house talking on the phone when I first get in, to acknowledge him and give him like maybe the first 10 minutes or what have you, just to check in. And so I did. Now that doesn't mean that I never slipped up, because again, that was
your husband is definitely going to be a chief at the boot camp. He's definitely going to be a chief at the boot camp. But you know why that's important, though? You know why that's important? Because like I keep telling y'all, I still disagree. If you do all of this, the average American woman, not even black woman, won't comply.
Why do you say that though?
No, it won't comply because it's too much selfishness out here. What I think it is that my masculinity and me trying to create a good atmosphere in this home in which we're responsive, respectful to each other's needs, and making time for each other like your husband did. I need you to acknowledge me. I am your husband, because it's what he really did was stop that from getting worse. Stopped it from you disregarding him to the point where you're on the phone, you go lay in the bed, and now you don't cook dinner. Like, that's what my married friends are saying is happening. One behavior just carries over into another, and then not you, but women have complete disregard for their husbands because he never checked them on any of it. Right?
I agree.
I think the average woman, just the same way 70% of black men today were raised in single parent homes, mother homes, the women were too. So I think what I see a lot of my friends struggle with is that they'll get advice from me to do what your husband did, and the wife will be like, why? Modern women have a problem of not wanting to do anything they don't wholeheartedly agree with. That is why I'm saying they won't. Because if they'd be like, why? That's stupid. I'm talking to my friend. Like, it's all about them. It's not about making time for him. It's like, what do you mean? I'm just on the phone. This is harmless. I'm not doing it. That's the response I think most men are going to get. Go ahead.
So to that, right, and what Mistaken was talking about earlier, sometimes answering that why, I understand as men that could be really annoying. But how much more productive would it be if your woman did not grow up with a father to be like, hey, listen, it just feels really disrespectful, right? Like, I need to feel respected in my home, and this, you coming in on the phone every day, it's just not it, right? Like, that why might sound super annoying, but if that woman literally does not know better, what's the problem in correcting? Because if I'm not, like, if I'm mistaken, did your husband not do that with you?
Yes, he did. Because I am definitely a why person. I didn't ask him why in that moment, but he did take the time to explain the why to me because he knows my personality. So he gave it to me before I asked. And that was what he said. He finds it to be very disrespectful. And because I care about how I don't want to be disrespectful.
And to that mistake, and that's why I said, now think about this, guys. When I just got done telling you guys, that's why in our program we focus mainly on like teaching them to be, men, husband, fathers, and vice versa with the ladies. Now, just think, when I was talking about correcting those behaviors out of them at an early age, once they even have that type of thing going, if they do become wives, look how much more receptive they would be to getting that correction with the husband explaining to them, hey, I don't like when you come in talking on the phone. But now, because of childhood, when they are corrected on something, they're more open to listen to why versus actually just, I ain't got to what? What's the problem? You see what I'm saying? That's what I love about that is that by them coming in and you saying, I don't like when you do X, Y, and Z, and I explain to you why, it's like, oh, like you just said, I didn't even know that I was even doing that. I didn't even know it. But now that you do know, it's not like, well, I'm gonna have an attitude about that. That's nothing. I wouldn't think that a man should get upset over some petty stuff. Like, no, it's like, oh man, I didn't know that would actually do this to him. So now I don't want to do something that I know is going to actually, upset him or hurt him or disappoint him.
And it was important for him to explain that to me because a lot of times we teach people how we want to be treated, right? Yeah. So I didn't find that to be disrespectful because it doesn't bother me if he was to do it. So my assumption was that wouldn't bother, it's not a big deal. And just because it doesn't bother me doesn't mean that wouldn't bother him. So I was thankful that he did explain it to me, because in my mind, that is what I was thinking. Like, what's the big deal? Like, you're sitting here on a couch watching TV, like, and I'm on. It doesn't matter, That's what I'm in my mind. But for him, it was no. When it just in general, when I come through the door or when you come through the door, the first thing is greeting, acknowledging, each other. Like,
there's so many variables, you can be like, man, babe, I've been thinking about you all day. I couldn't wait for you to get home. I wanted to tell you something. I just couldn't. I thought about you just when you came to do. I just want to give you a kiss. What's up, babe? And you come in, girl. Yeah, hey, anyway.
Right. And sometimes that's what it was. It wasn't that I wouldn't be acknowledging him when I come through the door. I wasn't present, like fully acknowledging him. It's like, girl, hold on. Hey, babe. All right. Da, 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 da. Yeah. And I'm going on about, my conversation. For him is, no, when you walk through the door, I need to connect with you when you get through the door. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that was to see what kind of mood I'm in. Me being able to get a read of how his day was, those kind of things. And I didn't think of it like that. So for him, it is a matter of respect and just courtesy. And I got it after he explained it.
Let me actually speak on Inaz's point, because you're right, Inaz. When you said, why can't he just explain? That is where we hit the roadblock. Remember, I said mentorship cannot replace fatherhood. Even this is encompassed in that. The lack of fathers meant the lack of men being able to answer those questions for their woman. They were never taught. Many men were never taught. And it was never promoted that you had to. Because the women don't automatically know, because they weren't taught by their moms, men don't know how to answer the questions that we feel women should already know. We have a problem. Remember, we had that back and forth that one time where we were like, well, men need to be more articulate and learn how to express themselves and communicate with women. And I said, men don't learn how to communicate with women until women give them the time of day. So it's literally a domino effect, because when a woman says, well, why should I have to do that? A majority of the men today are going to hit a roadblock, and they're going to be upset that you just don't already know because you weren't taught. Like today's men are not articulate enough to just go back and forth, because it's like, well, shit, I'm telling you, you're supposed to see how I internally feel about what you're doing and be like, you know what, babe, I'm going to be unselfish. I didn't know you felt that way. But no, now this is an argument and I'm upset because you're upset. And I think that's going to happen with most couples.